Comics of 100 years ago, what I believe is May 4th, 1924. The book here, this is in Walt Skizix on Sunday, says that it is from May 8th, but May 8th was a weekday, not a Sunday in 1924. So we are going to read this gigantic, this is how big it was once upon a time, folks. Gasoline Alley page, which was also part of the Skizix Has Disappeared storyline. So our title, Gasoline Alley, has a giant Walt in a police officer's uniform with a teeny tiny Skizix sitting on top of him while Pal and Puff look on. Walt sees Skizix walking toward a fence, and he says, "Well, as I live and breathe, there's Skizix now. I've been almost frantic trying to find him. Skizix, I say, you little grasshopper, don't run away from Uncle Walt. He wants you." Skizix jumps over the fence. Now, as Walt looks over the fence, he sees an older child grab a Skizix by the arm and say, "Go tell your fat uncle to get you some candy." "Why, the big bully? I'll box his ears for him," Walt says. "Well, I'll be jiggered," says Walt, as Skizix punches the bully and knocks him down. His cap flies off, and Skizix says, "Maybe you want another one." Now Skizix is walking on top of the roof of a garage, and Walt cries, "Wait for Uncle Walt, he can't travel so fast." Walt sits on the roof of the garage watching a car drive away, and he says, "Look at that little rascal, he's stealing a ride on somebody's spare tire." And sure enough, there is Skizix on the back tire. Now Walt has Skizix by the arm, and he says, "Ah, that was an awful chase you gave me, Skizix. I'm all out of breath, but I caught you at last." But Walt is surrounded by police officers, and they say, "It's a fine big bully you are, picking on a little tot like that." Walt says, "He's my own child. I've adopted him and everything." Now the cops are chasing Walt down the street. "Time is too valuable to spend arguing with a lot of cops," Walt says. Walt climbs up a telephone pole. His hat flies off his head. The ground is just swarming with cops now. Skizix is walking on the telephone wires. Walt says, "Now is my chance. He won't get away from me this time." Walt, sitting on the telephone wires, has caught Skizix in his arms. There are no cops below anymore. And Walt says, "Now, honey bunch, I've got you in my arms, and I'm never going to let go of you again." And sadly, it was all a dream. Walt wakes up, clutching a pillow close to his chest. He says, "Great guns, every time I fall asleep, I have some wild dream about Skizix."